Hey, Andy here. Hey guys, how you doing? Hey, just blasting out some little old Kid Rock, old school Kid Rock. Anyways, driving down the 15 in Southern California. You know, today, it's funny, the other day I read a really cool story, and it was very poignant, very good metaphoric story. It was about ticks. You know, ticks? You know, those things that get stuck in your dog's hair, and ticks, those things that created the bubonic plague in the 13th century and wiped out about a third to half of the European population. You know, ticks. Ticks are interesting little creatures. A tick, pound for pound, can actually jump from a sitting position 36 inches in the air. A tick. Literally, you need a microscope to see half of them. They're really tiny, but they can jump 36 inches. That's like you or me jumping on the Empire State Building, basically. On the top, you know. Let me put it this way. They can jump. That's how they get around. They jump from animal to animal, from, you know, living creature to living creature. That's how they get around. An interesting story. This was an experiment done a few years ago. Actually, it was a story that was on, I'm not going to tell you, it was by a comedian, but it was very poignant. And what they did was they took a couple of ticks and they put them in a jar. And the jar was only about 10 inches, maybe 12 inches. So what happened was the ticks that were inside that jar could only jump about 12 inches. That's as far as they could go, 12 inches. They hit the top. And then they would learn to jump, after bouncing off the top a few times. They would learn to only jump just below the top. And that would, it would create, it would create as far as they could jump, which was like 11 inches in a 12-inch jar. What happened is these ticks, they would have offspring, and the offspring would follow, obviously, their parents and how high they could jump, which was 12 inches. 11 inches so they didn't hit their head, and they'd be scared if they jumped any higher. So here we have a tick who can jump 36 inches. You put him in a jar, and he can only jump 12 inches if he hits his head and gets a boo-boo, or 11 inches to be safe. And then you have this tick's second-generation children learn from the parents, the father tick, and they only jump the same amount, because that's what they're taught. They learn they can only jump 11, 12 inches. So what happens when you take the second-generation ticks out, even outside the jar, and you put them in with other ticks, those ticks were only jumping 11, 12 inches, even though they were with other ticks that were jumping 36 inches, because they were told, they were told, and through experience and through leadership of their parents, that that's as far as they could jump, and that's what they knew, and that's what they thought to be real. And that was their culture. That's all they understood. Amazing story. What you need to do, guys, is you need to take the freaking lid off. You need to look at your environment. You need to look at the people that you associate with. You need to look at your personal relationships. You need to look at everything. And you see, is this what I want to be influenced by? Is this the world and the culture and the place, even the physical place of where I want to be? Because all those things, whether you believe it or not, and your religion, and if you have one, or whatever your culture is, that's what shapes you. And if that's what you want to be dictated, if that's where you want to be, that's fine. But if you want to jump higher, you want to make bigger splashes, you got to take the lid off. You got to take the lid off the jar. As always, I'm all over the internet. Thanks for listening. Hope this gave you some value. Again, call to action. You want to learn some skills, mad skills on the internet? You want to know how to market? www.wickedgood.mobi. Hey, Southern California. Thanks for listening. See you next time.